All right, peace, y'all. So I did the second part to You Are Not a Targeted Individual. That's going to be coming later on this week. You're going to see that. What I really want to talk about right now is protecting yourself and how the fashions and ways of protecting yourself may have to be reevaluated and gone over, because you have to get to the point where you understand that protecting yourself isn't really something that you can do. And then the next thing you're going to do is ask why, and that's because if the Most High Creator, made me, and the things that I have around me, they're not really mine, then the person that created it has to have control and leadership and dominion over these things, because it is theirs and it belongs to them. And once you get that deep, get that understanding in your mind, you'll be able to see where you have control and where you don't have control. First of all, even in our perception of control is not even realistic. And the realism of the situation is frightening, because the truth is you can't have eyes everywhere at the same time. There's people in buildings. There's people under the ground. There's people all over. So even if you tried to protect yourself, you'd be doing a shitty job at it. You'd only be concerned about the surface, right? You'd be the type of nigga that's talking about skincare, but you're only worrying about something when the pimple appears. And that's pointless, because just like we've spoke about on many times, I've used this example that many people have also used. But by the time the pimple's on your face, the problem's already come and gone. By the time you see it, it's already come and gone. So any type of prevention method or things like that, that's going to be nonsense, because the problem has already come and gone. So what are you going to prevent at this point? Nothing. That's what it's like to try to protect yourself on the top layer and only worry about the things that you see. It means you're not aware that they are unseen. That means you don't have any respect for the unseen. And this is also a part of the whole process of you healing, because little by little, step by step, that's what you're going to be understanding. And that's what you're going to be embracing, little by little. So I guess we can say that that's one for this video, is understanding that protecting yourself is not realistic. It's not realistic. You have to give that job over to something, to an entity that created you, or to an entity that can handle it. Because you can't handle it. Because if you could handle it, you would never feel the need to do so, right? Right? If you knew, if protecting yourself was something that was natural, right, you wouldn't feel the need to do it, because you would be doing it already. That's so real, I ain't even want the train to stop a nigga. You feel me? So the second one, what could be? Let's get to the second one, right? So the second one, I guess we could say this is like a deep cleansing, thorough healing process. After you done went through all your little bullshit emotions, right? When you want to get deep in it, right? This is that deep cleanse, right? Boom, you understand that you have to hand over that notion of thinking that you can protect yourself. That's one. Two, you're gonna love two. Two is understanding that your source is not your job. It's not capitalism. Your source ain't nothing here on this plane that you can see with these so-called little visions, right? That's not what it is. You want to know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because to say that is that you lacking the understanding that your source created all of this. You feel me? All of it. And not a second of it did it not create. So how can your source have a source? Then that means it's not a source, right? So if you want to talk about your job, you want to talk about your money, you want to talk about your ideas, you want to talk about whatever you need to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a boss, whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about. If it has to have a source itself, if it has to have a source itself, then that means that's not the say-all, be-all. Therefore, it's obvious that capitalism is not the say-all, be-all. You understand? Listen, I'm just trying to go through the process in the manner with you, so that it can kind of hit hard on the level where it's like you can no longer only see it in certain ways. Thank you. Just so you can see it in ways that are critical. Because if you can see it critically, then you can understand it critically, right? We can go on to the next one, to 3. I just close up my bag. So people right now with their whole lack of energy, lack of this, lack of that, right? One, just to break that down and help you just, get over that little hump, because this is where you're trying to get to or get away from, right? Boom. Now it's because 1, you thought you could protect yourself, and 2, you thought capitalism was your source. So these main 2 things has led us to 3. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this is crazy. And 3 is what? 3 is understanding heavily, right? It's understanding heavily, right? That 1 and 2 is not what you need, right? Period.